Hi, I'm Kate Nash, and you're listening to Recess with Spinelli.
You are listening to Recess with Spinelli, WSPN 91.1 FM, and today we are here in New York City at the CMJ Music Marathon with English musician now residing in Los Angeles, Kate Nash. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Now, between the differences between London, New York City, and LA, in your opinion, what are they, and why did you choose to move out to LA?
Oh, they're really drastic, I feel like. I don't know, I think like English people feel like New York's kind of like just a bigger, brighter, more intense version of London, and LA is just like on another planet. It's like you can't walk anywhere really, whereas in London and New York it's really nice. You can like walk around and like hop on the metro or the tube, and LA's like everyone's in their cars kind of on their own. It's sort of like when you first move there, it's kind of a lonely city and you have to work hard to like find your pocket, you know. The weather is too hot. I'm English, I can't cope with it.
Now, in Los Angeles, that's where you formed the Girl Gang project that you've now been running for about a year, right?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of originated because of a song that we were like playing on tour with the Girl Talk record. And we, you know, like had girls on stage every night and like girls crowd surfing, and just kind of like it was very much about women empowerment, like during my shows. And I just started calling like all of my fans and my girl band Girl Gang. And then when I got to LA, I didn't really want that to like slow down the momentum I felt that we had. And so I just rang like 15 of the coolest girls that I knew and got them to like come into my garage, and said that I wanted a space for us to be able to like be social and just supportive, and also talk about politics and like things that we cared about, and try and learn from each other, and like bring like sort of special skills and interests to the group, and like keep up with like current events, because I think it can feel really overwhelming with how much access we have to information. Like sometimes I'm like, oh God, I don't know anything and I don't know what's going on because there's just too much. So it's kind of makes it less scary when there's a group of girls just hanging out and talking about stuff. And then we started Girl Gang TV because fans were interested, and we started like filming and interviewing people. And yeah, if you go to girlgang.tv, that you can check out like a bunch of our videos and stuff. So we want to try and bring Girl Gang to you, the people. And I've also just got my own radio show called Girl Gang FM, and we're trying to like plan our next event. We feel pretty opinionated about like the threat to Planned Parenthood and the sort of police kind of brutality, and lots of people being murdered by police and being filmed and nothing being done about it. And Black Lives Matter, and just there's like a lot of things. I mean, the other day there was like, I was watching TV in the doctor's office, and it was like this talk show where they were like, everybody, Playboy has just agreed to stop showing naked photos, and all the women were like, yay! And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with everyone? Like, are we going back to the 50s or something? Like, why would that be a celebratory thing to like censor like women's bodies, especially in a magazine where it's like, you know, it's not like it's something that's, you don't have to buy Playboy if you don't want to read it, you know, like everyone's into different things, but I don't think it's like celebratory to see censorship happening. Now,
one of the other things, depending on whom you speak to, the definition can definitely seem to change. Yeah. So I was wondering, what is your definition of feminism, and what do you take away from it?
Everyone has their own definition, I guess. To me, it's about striving for, you know, equality, and like women are oppressed in many different ways, and for that to stop, you know. One thing I don't like is when people battle each other trying to figure out the correct definition of feminism, because I think that's a little like, doesn't really matter, you know. Like, we're fighting for people's rights essentially, and we don't need to fight online about like exactly what rights matter and what aren't, what is as important and what isn't as important. I don't have to suffer like some of the extreme versions of sexism that's out there, luckily, but you know, I do experience my own version of sexism, and I think that it's important for everybody to like feel like they can live the life that they want to live and not be judged for it if it doesn't agree with somebody else's ideas, I suppose, as long as they're not trying to murder people.
Would you say that you yourself and other people who have the capability to speak up have the responsibility to?
Yeah, totally. I think I've always felt like I have a platform, and if you have a platform, you're really wasting your space if you're not having a voice. There's really bad shit happening out there, so like use the platform, you know, it is a responsibility.
Now, I also understand that back in England, you opened up a rock school after club program for girls. Is that still going on?
No, because I'm not there, so it wasn't something that I set up to like run forever. It was just like I was actually traveling to like 6 different schools and working with like a bunch of young girls, and my bandmates were and some of my friends were, and encouraging girls to write their own music, because I found out that statistically there are like less female songwriters than male. It was about 1.5 years, I think, the project, and then we did a show at Queen Elizabeth Halls, which is about like a 900 capacity venue, and all these girls like they opened up basically for us, and they all played their songs and instruments, and it was so cool. It was like really emotional. We were all just like crying mums in the crowd.
I mean, what was the progression that you saw with the students of the after school rock program, and why would you say there aren't as many girls in rock music as there should be?
I mean, I've sort of gone deep into the psyche of like why, and I think it's kind of like girls are often thinking of the future and like planning their futures more, and I think like it's a risk, you know, like being a musician and going into like rock music or just like live music can be a risk. And also like a lot of young girls are really overprotected by their parents, and getting up on stage can, I think, to some parents be seen as like almost like a sexual thing, because they're going to be on stage and looked at by like predators, and like a lot of parents are overprotective, so like wouldn't necessarily want their kids to be like going to rehearsal rooms and like whatever. And then girls can be scared because they're like, well, I don't know how to play, and I feel like I'm going to be made fun of and judged, and there's a lot more like attack on girls for like how they look and stuff when they get on stage too, so it's like a scary thing to do. But then like I have the best story about this girl at one of the schools that I worked at. She started out and was really kind of angry and like didn't want to really be there, even though she'd volunteered to be in the program. And we worked on this song called I Am Angry, which was, she wrote all the lyrics, and it was kind of about her being bullied for being a lesbian because she had like short hair. She performed it in front of the class, and I have this footage of her, and she's like, the first time she performed it, she was like bright red face, like looking down, her hair's all tied back, and she's kind of like shaking her head and like really shy. And then she performs it at the Queen Elizabeth Halls like a year later, and she had like her hair down, and it was like she had a red tutu on, and she was kind of like doing this like shoulder movements and like tapping her leg, and like she was so like, she was an amazing performer, and it was a completely different girl. She said afterwards that, you know, it changed her life really, because she just had so much more confidence and felt like she could do whatever she wanted.
Now, your music has definitely a very passionate and raw sound to it, a very genuine sound. Now, it's also changed from kind of like a singer-songwriter to more of a pop, and then more to a punk. So I guess what spurred these pretty drastic changes in your signature sound here, and what can folks expect on the upcoming album?
The new album kind of feels like a blend of everything, kind of. I don't know, I think I just sort of go with how I'm feeling. It's always been normal to me to be into different things, and I'd never felt like I had one particular interest or one genre or something that I wanted to stick to, and I just explore them because like I feel like I want to. Is
there anything that you're focusing on this album that might be different from the past?
I mean, this album's like gonna have more pop than my last record. Definitely production wise.
Well, for this album, are you going to be looking inward for inspiration, or are you going to be looking more at political stuff? Or
I definitely have some political stuff on there, and then just like personal experiences. I like writing about like love and relationships and friendship and stuff.
Is anything going to be released coming up very soon? Can folks get a tease of the sound of it?
I don't know the exact plan right now, to be honest with you. I've been feeling like I really want to release something because I haven't all year. I put She Rules out last year just for fun. Like I might do something, even if it's a cover or something, to just put something online, because I've got my new website which just went live, katenash.com, and just check on there, I guess, and on my socials for like any new things. I'll definitely be talking about it if it happens.
What would you say to girls who want to get started in rock music? What would be your main bit of advice to get them motivated?
I think just do it, like just start like playing music, and I think there's something really cool about just being raw and like getting out there and trying it. And I was so nervous for my first show, so it's very normal to be scared, but like when I did it I was like, this was the best thing ever and I want to continue. So just like bite the bullet and like get out there and try it and learn as you go along, and don't take from people.
And is there anything else that you would like to add? Any final thoughts about anything really that comes to your mind?
I don't know. Be nice. Go out into the world and be nice to each other.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
You have been listening to Recess with Spinelli, WSPN 91.1 FM, and we are here at the Bowery Ballroom in CMJ New York City Music Marathon with Kate Nash.